This is a Swiss Gear Wenger suitcase, and on a recent trip the wheels completely shredded. So the outside rubber is shredded, which, as you can imagine, causes a pretty rough ride and is a very noisy wheel. So in this video I'm going to show how to take these off and replace these with rollerblade wheels. So the first step is to open up the liner, and it's a little bit hidden, but you can see there's a zipper in the middle. So flipping up this toiletry bag, we can find the zipper. So we need to unzip it. Now after we have it unzipped, we can actually see the wheel housing inside. So after unzipping it, we can actually locate the wheel housing now, and this is where we're going to need to access in order to take off the old wheel and replace it. So we're going to take out some screws so we can get access to the full assembly here and replace it with our new wheels. So we're going to unscrew each of these so we can release the wheel housing. Again, this is what the full assembly looks like. So for the wheel assembly, there's actually 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 for this particular model, and then there's actually a rivet that's somewhat hidden under this, and so we'll actually have to cut that from the outside to get that rivet out. So this is the rivet that has to be cut off. It's on the outside of the suitcase, and then we'll be able to pull the whole wheel assembly off. And with just the last rivet in, you may actually be able to pivot the whole wheel assembly off to be able to access what we need to get the wheel off without actually removing the rivet. So our next step will be to actually drill out that axle. So the little rivet there will actually drill that out so we can remove the old wheel and put the new one on. So again, this is what we'll do to remove that wheel. And now when the back side of that rivet has been drilled off, you can actually remove that wheel. So again, this is the old wheel that is destroyed. So this is what we're going to replace. And for the replacement, I'm using a rollerblade wheel with the axle that came with it. I'm just going to screw that in, and then we'll be all set with a suitcase with new wheels that will actually roll. So I've got one end of the axle installed. I'm going to use a washer, and then I'll put on the rollerblade wheel, and then I'll put in the screw and tighten it up, and then we will be set with our new wheels on our suitcase, and we should be ready to go now. And our final step will just be to line up this housing back with the holes, put our screws back on the inside, reattach our lining to the Velcro and zip our lining back up, and then we will be ready to pack and off on vacation. So this is everything reassembled. I ended up taking out this screw and then these 3 screws, and was able to pivot that around the rivet without having to cut that off. And so next we'll just put the lining back in, zip it back up through the middle, and we're finished.